Hey there, y'all. Hey there. It's Dill from Another Bachelor Podcast. Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday weekend. Anybody else got a case of the Mondays? You know? Okay, so anyways, hope we can kick your week off well with another podcast show tease. That's the show on patreon.com/another podcast network, where me, Nick, Pat, Goof, Gab, Josh, and just shoot the schmook with anything that's on our mind. This week we cover some 90 Day Fiancé. I know a lot of you guys have missed that short-lived show that we did. We talk about the plot to assassinate Yazan for his interest in the Instagram sugar baby Brittany. I think that's the term for him. We talk about Sumit and Jenny, but that's a little bit more, a little bit more salacious. So that whole thing's going to be covered behind the paywall at patreon.com/another podcast network. We also talk about, as you'll listen, as you'll hear, what it means to be a real nerd, and we play a little bit of the Shard cast. Fans of the show know it well. And we also talk about a little Leif, Garrett, who is among the most sad human beings living today. So anyways, I've gone on long enough, but we love you guys for supporting us. We will be back this week with a brand new episode of Another Bachelor Podcast. Until then, peace.
Now, I've talked about my favorite fantasy series of all time many times before, that being Branderson's The Stormlight Archive. You guys will remember. I think I brought this up specifically referring to my disdain for people who like Marvel movies. And that means that they're nerds.
Yeah.
I think I talked about it.
Or they watched every episode of Game of Thrones. I'm such a nerd. Sure. No, you're not.
Yes, and that rage made me bring in what is called the Shard Cast, a podcast dedicated to the Cosmere, to show you guys what real nerds actually are.
A truly momentous moment in another podcast network history.
Yeah, I would say so. Mm-hmm. So I have a couple clips of these guys and gals, again, just to jog the memory a little bit. Now, in this episode, they'll be covering the heralds, the honor blade wielding leaders of the Knights Radiance, who stave away desolations on Roshar.
Yep. We're coming in. Oh, and I'm Chaos. We're coming in hot after recording our episode on Oath Pact to talk about in-depth the Heralds. I mean, we talked a bit about the Heralds, but we're going to do a deep dive on the Heralds and all the things right now.
Okay. So
I hope you're playing more.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a little bit more. So they cover a lot of great stuff, but in this next clip, they talk about something that I talk about often with fans of the series. That's talking about Talonel. He's the only herald to not abandon his shard plate. Though, if he had already been in Damnation during the Recreants, who knows? It could be shoved into the Shattered Plains with the rest of the night.
Pre-show.
So anyways, here they'll talk about the Herald of War and, just get into what real nerds actually sound like.
Mm-hmm.
The town interlude in Words of Radiance is one of, sure, there's some funny parts, but it's one of the creepiest things that you'll read.
I would say it's one of the most heartbreaking.
It's
I didn't really get creeped out by it.
I don't know.
I was heartbroken.
The whole how long it had been.
At the end,
it's really cool.
I think it's kind of horrifying, just to realize where he's at. You're seeing from his eyes, and you're just like, this is the kind of shape he's in.
He's the bearer of agonies, as the Stormfather says. 4,500 years of all those seas torturing him.
Yeah, which is interesting to me because they call him the bearer of agonies in the modern day, and so did that predate him getting left behind, or did that somehow work its way into the parlance?
Okay, that's a very stupid question because.
راح يقتلوه. هذا أثر على العيلة.
There are people in the family who genuinely hate him now. And it might get to the point where they might decide to kill him.
Yeah. You know what I love?
TLC. This is what you're doing to people.
Yes. It's great TV in America. Meanwhile, a guy's fucking got his head over in that dumpster. He's got his fucking torso in the other fucking dumpster. Hey, that was our highest rated episode. Hey, what happened to that cast member, Yazan? Oh, he's dead.
Who in production is like this relationship where the one from Florida goes to Jordan, Amon Jordan, is a good idea? Because like, how is nobody like, I don't want to disrupt the flow of the pitch meeting, but I do want to remind everyone that they're literally a millennia behind us culturally. So I don't know if it's quote unquote safe or right to go in and essentially do what the CIA does. They just foment chaos, but it's just on a smaller scale.
But everybody else in the room's like, no, it's a liberal part. It's a liberal part over there.
You know what's crazy about this in Brittany is, first off, she's a little soft in the head. Forgive me for saying that. She's not the brightest bulb in the batch.
I disagree.
No, she's a complete imbecile. And I love how she's like, oh, you're going to kill, because you didn't play a reaction, but she's like, well, I need time to think about this. You need time to think about this. Get on that plane and get out of there. All right, so get this. Behind the music, I didn't know who Leif Garrett was because I was too young to know who this idiot was, okay? I do remember him later on when someone told me he was in the movie Outsiders for about 4 seconds when he tried to be an actor in like 1983. Okay.
Electric 4 seconds.
So, Behind the Music did basically a doc on him, okay? Little did America know, or did I know, his life turned very tragic around 1980. Okay, so get this. So the whole show talks...
Die at 27?
No. So the whole documentary on him, Behind the Music, talks about, how he basically started doing drugs and booze and everything. And then his life really took a nosedive when he was at a house party, probably in like 1980. He got in his Ferrari. He invited one of his buddies, who's like a backup dancer, to get in the car with him. Fucking flipped the Ferrari over.
But he dies, he lives.
But he didn't die. But he became a paraplegic.
Yeah.
The lawyers tell Leif, and this is all in the Behind the Music, hey, you can't talk to him anymore because he's probably going to sue us. So don't cut off communication with him. And so this whole Behind the Music, get this. Leif went on to just be a complete drug addict. He was on Celebrity Rehab twice in 2010. A fat, bloated loser. Awesome. By the way, trying to like play at Whiskey A Go-Go with like a rock band, trying to reinvent himself. Yeah. They showed him driving like a 1984 Plymouth Reliant. Just car. A really sad, no, not in 2010. The car was 16 years old at that point.
Reliable.
Anyway, this is what's great about Behind the Music. They didn't just do the generic like paint by numbers doc. They would add a few things. They actually talk Leif Garrett into meeting the guy he hasn't talked to for 25 years that he basically helped become a paraplegic, meet him in the park, and then try and work it through. Here's a clip of this. This was, I think, in 2000. My eyeballs were glued to the screen. I couldn't believe I'm watching this unfold.
God.